Good Friday evening and welcome to the NCWLIFE Evening News. I'm Grant Olson. Before we get to tonight's top story, let's take a look outside our weather window and another cloudy one across north central Washington today. Temperatures noticeably cooler too, especially with the breeze as we look down at the Wenatchee Valley from our cross camera up on Wenatchee Heights. And this weekend, our temperatures will continue to drop a little bit and we'll see some wetter periods over the next couple of days. We could even see some heavy rain at times in certain areas. And as I mentioned, those cooler temperatures. But the good news is, as we get into next week, our temperatures not only will get back to normal, look at Wednesday. We're talking temperatures in the mid to upper 70s and even some low 80s. We'll talk more weather coming up a little bit later on. Now, a few of the news stories we're following for you tonight. The carjacking suspect arrested yesterday in a shed outside Moses Lake has now been identified. The man accused of killing 30-year-old Yanira Cedillos of Moses Lake has been extradited from Oregon and is now lodged in the Grant County Jail. The Wenatchee Valley's largest health system says a judge must throw out the lawsuit brought by 92 current and former employees who argue its requirement for a COVID-19 vaccination is discriminatory. And the Grant County Health District announced today that avian influenza has been detected now in a wild flock of snow geese there. But first, our top story tonight. 2 people were injured and another man faces first-degree negligent driving charges after a 6-vehicle accident last night in Moses Lake. The Washington State Patrol said a northbound truck being driven by 36-year-old Mario Uribe of Moses Lake failed to stop for a red light at the intersection of Highway 17 and Wheeler Road and then hit a 1998 Honda Accord, which then resulted in 2 other vehicles getting hit, including a Ford F-150 pickup being driven by 34-year-old Leslie Foster of Moses Lake. The State Patrol said Uribe's 2012 Ford F-350 truck, which was pulling a trailer, continued on after hitting the Accord and then collided with a 2016 Subaru being driven by 41-year-old Benjamin Dyer of Moses Lake. Both Foster and Dyer were transported to Samaritan Hospital with undisclosed injuries. A 6th vehicle was also struck by debris from that collision. Well, the carjacking suspect arrested yesterday in a shed outside Moses Lake has been identified as 29-year-old Issei Daniel Ramirez of Moses Lake. The Grant County Sheriff's Office said Ramirez was being sought for a Wednesday carjacking in Moses Lake. Moses Lake detectives reported spotting Ramirez later Wednesday in Warden, which resulted in a 45-minute high-speed pursuit that was suspended after deciding his dangerous driving posed a threat to other motorists. After learning yesterday that Ramirez was at a home in the 9500 block of Maple Drive Northeast, deputies descended on the property about 1 p.m. and reported seeing Ramirez going from the home to a utility shed on that property. After a short standoff, he was arrested, as was an unidentified woman who was with him in the shed, who was wanted on outstanding warrants. Ramirez faces charges of second-degree robbery and felony eluding. Maple Street was blocked off and nearby schools locked down during the arrest. The man accused of killing 30-year-old Yanira Cedillos of Moses Lake has been extradited from Oregon and is now lodged in the Grant County Jail. 28-year-old Juan Gastelum faces charges of second-degree murder and second-degree rape in the March 4th death of his former girlfriend. He was arrested March 10th in Hermiston, Oregon, and had been fighting extradition to Grant County before waiving that right Wednesday. After an extensive search by law enforcement and her family, Cedillos' body was found May 12th in Walla Walla County. Police say she was out celebrating her 30th birthday March 3rd, but disappeared after receiving repeated messages from Gastelum. Police believe Gastelum killed Cedillos in her Moses Lake apartment. Well, the Wenatchee Valley's largest health system says a judge must throw out the lawsuit brought by 92 current and former employees who argue its requirement for a COVID-19 vaccination is discriminatory. Confluence Health this week filed a response motion in Douglas County Superior Court. The hospital agency says when it imposed a COVID vaccine requirement for all its workers in August of 2021, it was only following executive orders from Governor Jay Inslee. The Confluence motion says, quote, established case law and public policy do not allow for unvaccinated individuals to continue providing direct care. The motion also says the health workers have not demonstrated that they're victims of discrimination as claimed in their lawsuit. The plaintiffs are represented by attorney and former East Wenatchee Mayor Steve Lacey. A judge is scheduled to take up that case in a hearing on June 28th. The Grant County Health District announced earlier today that avian influenza has been detected in a wild flock of snow geese there. A Department of Fish and Wildlife biologist and a Moses Lake veterinarian teamed up to collect and test 4 snow geese from a migratory flock. Washington is currently dealing with a widespread outbreak of the bird disease, which has infected backyard poultry flocks in 8 counties, including Okanagan. Avian flu is often spread from wild birds to domestic ones. Although it doesn't pose great risk to humans, it can be devastating to commercial poultry operations. Owners of chickens, ducks, and geese are urged to keep their birds sheltered with the clean water supply in order to avoid exposure. Well, when we come back, cool spring weather and precipitation have brought relief to areas of Washington that suffered drought last year, but the effects of that drought are lingering. The BA2 variant of COVID-19 is making its way through Washington, and as cases rise, state health officials are recommending a return to indoor masking, and young creators in Chelan County Schools submitted winning work to the NCW Virtual STEM Showcase. I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCW Life Evening News.
Introducing Alpine Airman. Because every home needs a superhero to eliminate poor indoor air quality, send inefficient operating equipment packing, and cut high energy bills down to size. For heating or cooling and equipment replacement, turn to the experts and the superheroes at Carrier and Alpine Air. We offer the best deals on high-efficiency Carrier products, along with friendly, knowledgeable service and incredible savings to fit your budget.
Welcome back. In other news, cool spring weather and precipitation have brought relief to areas of Washington that suffered drought last year, but the effects of that drought are lingering. The State Department of Ecology says 5 major watersheds, including those that span parts of Grant and Okanagan counties, will remain in drought emergency status. Other eastern Washington counties, including Chelan and Douglas, have been downgraded to a drought advisory. This means local stream flow should remain above drought level, but water users should still be careful not to overdraw from wells and aquifers. It's a big improvement from 2021 when 96% of the state was classified in a drought emergency. Well, the BA2 variant of COVID-19 is making its way through Washington, and as cases rise, state health officials are recommending a return to indoor masking. Severe illness and death remain much lower than in past surges, but Secretary of Health Umar Shah says masking in crowded indoor spaces can again help slow the spread of the disease.
We have started to see an increase that has really not gotten to the point of Omicron or our Delta wave previously, but it is concerning to us, especially as we talked about with the undercounting of cases. If we can go to the hospitalization graph, what I think it's also critical to say is that as we watch BA2 and monitor its movement across our state, our focus remains on watching for serious disease. And that remains absolutely concerned about healthcare capacity as measured by hospitalizations. And that's what we've started to see as an increase in our state as well.
Young creators in Chelan County Schools submitted winning work to the North Central Washington Virtual STEM Showcase. Cascade High School junior Quentin Farrell wrote a program in Python that generates a plain board for board games. The Wenatchee High School team of Ella Gebbers, Miranda Nyack, and Emery Price created a short film about a lonely ghost based on the theme, A Day in the Life. Community members voted on 29 projects from K through 12 students in 4 counties, which were displayed online for a month by the Apple STEM Network. Winning projects each receive a $250 prize. You're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News. Coming up next, tonight's feature story and your complete local weather forecast. That and much more still to come on the NCWLIFE Evening News. Please stay with us.
Attention RVers and campers! There's a huge RV liquidation event going on now at Click It RV of Moses Lake. Click It RV of Moses Lake must make room for new inventory arriving daily. There's a huge selection of top quality RVs that must be liquidated to make room for new arrivals.
You're going to want to be at this event.
Get to Click It RV Moses Lake's huge liquidation event.
Get to Click It RV now. Are you going to be mad, bro? You probably already are.
Get the best deals anywhere at Click It RV of Moses Lake.
We guarantee it.
Hello, my name is Brian Brett, the Fire Chief for Chelan County Fire District 1, and I just wanted to talk about how amazing our Rivercom team is. They are intentional, purposeful, and skillful in everything they do, and they are the best at what they do. How they prepare, how they handle the caller, how they coordinate the emergency services, and how they push themselves to be the best. This is the kind of spirit that our Rivercom telecommunicators have. Our community needs you, we need you, we admire you, you're our lifeline.
It has really been a great partnership between Succession and NCWLIFE. It's not always easy to sit in front of a camera or a microphone, but you guys have made it a really nice process.
It's a little scary at first, right? You're just throwing money out there hoping it comes back. And to see those results come back through and see people walk through the door and say, hey, saw your TV advertisement. Those are the kinds of things that you see the return on. And when you look at the cost spent, you know you're making a return on it. NCWLIFE really does a great job of exposing our brand and Succession wines to North Central Washington. There's a huge market here and market potential that NCWLIFE is able to help us capture, spread who we are, and tell the world about what Succession does, and they are a great avenue for that.
Welcome back to the NCWLIFE Evening News. Time now for our weekly Pause for Pets feature from the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society. Tonight we meet a dog with a big personality named Andy.
Hello, I'm Jenny. I'm the volunteer coordinator here at the Wenatchee Humane Society. And with me today I have Andy. Otherwise known as Andrew, as we like to affectionately call him, because I like to say that every day he's trying to be the very best Andrew he can be. Right, Betty? He's what I describe as like high on life. He is so jolly, so much fun. I personally adore Andy. He obviously has a lot to say. So every day he greets us, telling me all about what he's done the day before. He's actually quite smart though too. He has a bunch of tricks that he knows. He knows sit, he knows shake. He's learning to walk good on a leash. He does know eye contact, but the problem is he gets very excited about everything. So he has moments where he forgets how to behave on leash. Overall, Andy he might be one of my favorite guys. He does go to playgroup with a bunch of dogs. He's not every dog's cup of tea, though, because he's a little bit on the rough and rowdy side. But he comes in full steam, plays with them for a few minutes, and then he usually finds a stick and settles down with his stick. He's also a very scheduled dog. So here at the shelter, Andy knows when our daily enrichments are and what time they are. So he very much looks forward to scent tube time. He's awesome with people. He greets everybody kind of in this manner. He has a lot to say to everyone, and he wants to greet everyone. Yeah. When treats are involved, he does get a little bit more demanding, obviously. But overall, Andy is just, he's adorable. And he's just a super, super fun guy. Andy is going to have a life full of adventures.
The Wenatchee Valley Humane Society is located at 1474 South Wenatchee Avenue and is open 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. and closed 1:30 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. for quiet hour. Give them a call at 509-662-9577 or visit their website at wenatcheehumane.org.
He looks so sweet, doesn't he? Time now to take a look at your North Central Washington weather forecast. Hope your Friday was a good one. We're off to a long weekend now, at least most of us are. And the weather, unfortunately, taking a downturn. And that kind of began today with all the clouds that moved in. Definitely cooler temperatures out there today. A little breezy too, with highs around 67. That's an unofficial high at Pangbourne Airport. Normally we should be at 74 for this time of year. Our record 89 degrees. That was set back in 2005. As far as lows go, boy, a nice mild start to our Friday morning at 55. 52 is our normal low, and our record was set back in 1977 at 39 degrees. We did pick up that little sprinkle late yesterday afternoon. That gave us a trace of precipitation, but we're still at 4.01 inches since the 1st of January. Sunrise 5:12, sets tonight at 8:45. Let's get you in now to that Memorial Day holiday weekend beginning tomorrow, and temperatures, yeah, they're going to be even a little bit cooler than today. We're talking mid to upper 60s in the Columbia Basin, 67 in Moses Lake and Ephrata, 66 for Quincy. Wenatchee will be about 65 degrees, which will actually be almost 10 degrees below where we should be. 63 for Leavenworth, and if you're heading to Lake Chelan tomorrow, going to be cloudy with temperatures around 65 degrees. Tonight we can expect mostly cloudy skies. This is our weather maker, and there's an associated low just to the north, bringing clouds into Washington state. Not so much rain here, but on the west side we'll see less wind tonight with low temperatures in the mid 40s. And now our Saturday, and boy, it's messy all over the western United States. We could pick up an afternoon or evening shower tomorrow. We mentioned it. High temperatures generally in the mid 60s for our Saturday. Getting into Sunday, we could see morning showers, and I think that'll give way to partly to mostly cloudy skies on Sunday. We're just not going to warm up that much Sunday, though, with highs still in the mid 60s. And then your Memorial Day, of course, the nicest day of the long weekend. Partly cloudy, maybe an isolated shower or two, but boy, we're going to warm up nicely. High temperatures on Monday, right around that 70-degree mark, and talk about nice weather. Ridge of high pressure over the western U.S. We're going to warm up. We're going to see mostly sunny skies with highs in the mid 70s. And Wednesday, we could almost do it as we get into Wednesday as high pressure once again builds over the northwest. These are mainly high clouds, so we'll call it partly cloudy Wednesday. Upper 70s to maybe 80 degrees as we get into Wednesday. And then the storminess moves back on Thursday. Partly cloudy. The good news, we're still seeing that warm southwesterly flow. It's going to be mild Thursday. Showers will be probably likely in the afternoon, but once again mild with high temperatures in the upper 70s. Let's take a look at that 7-day forecast now. 45 degrees tonight, so a little cooler than we've seen. 65 with afternoon and evening showers tomorrow. Same goes for Sunday, except I think the rain will mainly be in the morning hours for Sunday. Same high temperature, and then we'll start a slow warm up. Isolated showers on Monday and 70, and then mostly sunny on both Tuesday and Wednesday. We'll We'll see 74 Tuesday, 78 your high on Wednesday. Showers return for Thursday, but the good news, it's going to stay mild. High temperatures then, once again, 78 degrees. And that's a look at your local weather forecast. Coming up next, tonight's sports report with Eric Granstrom and more as the NCW Life Evening News continues right after this.
I'm John Divis from Wenatchee Dental Arts, and I like to think myself as a comprehensive dentist. We are an office that treats people comprehensively for their dental problems. We do a lot of general dentistry in a broad sense. We don't send everything out. Things that we have the ability to do in the office, we like to keep in the office and under one roof and keep things as complication-free as possible. You can come to one place and have all their dental needs taken care of.
With TV advertising, what we want to do is more deeply connect with the community.
People spot me in different parts around North Central, Costco and Wenatchee, say, hey, you're the pizza guy. And so they wouldn't know that if it weren't for the TV commercials we've done.
We've been here so long that people already know who we are and what we do, but to have that image flash on their television screen as opposed to just hearing it in the radio or seeing it in the newspaper, I just love the fact that we can actually put our finger on when a customer comes in and says, I saw your ad.
It's becoming increasingly difficult in this digital age to know where are your customers listening or watching, because I watch all the different channels that they watch too, like Cooking Channel, History Channel, and so it was wonderful to be able to be on there.
I would say that if you want to do business in Wenatchee, then you should connect with the people of Wenatchee, and there's no better way to do that than with NCWLIFE.
And now it's a sports update on the NCWLIFE channel.
And a happy finally Friday to you. Thanks to Dan for filling in for me yesterday. Seahawks are at the midway point of the offseason workouts with a battle for quarterback at center stage. Geno Smith and Drew Lock are battling to replace Russell Wilson as Seattle signal caller. Coach Pete Carroll says Lock is doing well at coming in and picking up the offense.
He's right with us. Geno really has the package nailed, and so I have that to gauge him on, and so he's hanging with G throughout all of this, and we're not holding anything back. We really have just unloaded the installation at this time. He's doing well.
The offseason departure of Wilson and Bobby Wagner has left a hole in the leadership roles on the club. Coach Carroll says linebacker Jordan Brooks is filling one of those positions nicely.
He's feeling it. There's an example of a guy that is feeling the opportunity, that he knows he's in front. He knows he's got to call the shots and he's got to make the adjustments. He and Cody in particular, both those guys are engaged with, this level of communication that positions them to leadership. And so it's fun to watch and I can tell they're really accepting that that challenge, and so it's not something we're not talking about. We're on it, and it's there's something really concrete about this transition right here that's important for those guys and important for us.
Brooks is entering his third season with the Seahawks and credits Wagner for helping to teach him about what being a leader is all about.
Yeah, it's been different, obviously without those two greats not being here. But, like we was talking about earlier, the culture here is great. And so the guys know what the expectations are. And, the leaders that we have here that's still here, we got to embrace the role and get everybody else to follow. Leading by example, I think that was the best thing that Bobby showed anybody, just the way that he carried himself while he was in these buildings and his day-to-day routine and what he did to get prepared for practice, let alone the game. And so I think that's the biggest thing I took from him.
Seattle will wrap up OTAs next week and then gather again for a mandatory minicamp in mid-June before training camp gets underway in late July. Well, the Mariners are hoping a day off yesterday will help right the ship in a miserable May so far. Seattle entertains AL West leading Houston. First of 3 games at T-Mobile Park tonight. Justin Verlander back to Cy Young form as he'll take the ball for the Astros. Chris Flexen hoping for a little more run support for Seattle. First pitch on Root Sports coming up at 6:40. There were only 2 games involving American League West teams last night. George Springer and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. hit homers as Toronto beat the Angels 6-3. The announced attendance in Oakland last night, 3,203 fans. There was far less actually in the seats where the A's hosted Texas. Rangers' Adolis Garcia tied the game in the top of the 9th on an RBI double. Then Nathaniel Lowe won it for Texas with a 2-run homer in the top of the 9th inning. Wenatchee Panthers will try to win their second state 4A boys soccer championship in school history in Puyallup this weekend. Spark Stadium, the site for today's semifinal between Wenatchee and Skyline. It's underway. Other semifinal features Bellarmine Prep and Pasco. Losers will play for 3rd and 4th tomorrow at noon. Winners will play for the state title at 5 o'clock. Now, we would love to broadcast this game, but the NFHS network has an exclusive rights deal with the WIAA, so we can't. The only way you can see it, if you're not going to the game, is to go online and subscribe. Sorry about that. Eastmont girls softball team left town yesterday to head for Spokane for the state 4A softball tournament. Eastmont's first round opponent this morning was Kamiakin, despite a 3-run home run from Hallie Pierce and a solo homer by Emily Osborne. Eastmont fell to the Braves 6-4. They were to face a loser-out game against West Valley. Against Jackson, the Rams fell to Jackson earlier this morning. Cashmere is in the Tri-Cities for today's state 1A softball tournament. Their play-in game was against Hoquiam. Now, if Cashmere is able to get that win, they would face Nooksack Valley in a first-round playoff game. Okanagan lost its game as a play-in this morning to Toledo. 12-2 that was the final of the state 2B tournament in Yakima. That puts the Bulldogs out. Lake Roosevelt's first-round game was pitting them against Colfax as they beat Goldendale earlier today 14-2. Well, the Chelan baseball team's in Yakima tonight for the semifinals of the state 1A tournament. They'll face Bellevue Christian at Yakima County Stadium. The other semifinal features U Prep and Cedar Park Christian at 7. Losers of today's game will play for 3rd and 4th tomorrow at 1. Winners will fight for the state title tomorrow at 7 o'clock. Well, Brewster's over in Western Washington at Ridgefield for the state 2B semifinals against Jenkins Chewelah. Win and the Bears will face the winner of Colfax and Tootle Lake tomorrow for the state title at 1. If they lose, they'll drop to the 3rd and 4th place game tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Well, we had some top 3 placers at the first day of state track and field yesterday. Okanagan Sydney Sparks placed 2nd in the triple jump. Liberty Bell's Dexter Delaney was 3rd in the 1600. Those state meets continue today and tomorrow in Cheney and in Tacoma. Hey, you know what? Be safe this weekend. I know a lot of people gather around the water. The water's still very cold, still very high in the rivers and creeks. So just be very careful and have a safe and sane weekend. I'll see you here on Tuesday, and that's a look at sports. Grant, back to you.
Thank you very much, Eric. And now let's check in with Dan Kuntz for a look at what's coming up Tuesday morning on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Dan?
Thanks, Grant. I hope everybody has a good and safe 3-day weekend. Don't forget what Monday is all about. So we won't be here on Monday. We'll be back here on Tuesday, and we'll have everything you need to start your next abbreviated work week on Tuesday. We got some really good guests, too, lined up for Wake Up Wenatchee Valley all of next week as we say goodbye to May and welcome June. So have a good 3-day weekend. We will see you Tuesday morning live and local at 7 a.m. Grant, back to you.
Have a great weekend, Dan. And before we let you go, let's take one quick look again at the important weather forecast. I know a lot of you would like to get out there and do some barbecuing this weekend. You might want to wait. Saturday and Sunday both look cool, and both days have a chance for periodic rain showers. Keep that in mind. But the good news is, as we get into the early part of next week on Tuesday, we will see highs here with sunshine in the mid-70s. By Wednesday, we'll see upper 70s to maybe 80 degrees. And then Thursday, we're going to stay warm, but maybe still a few showers. So there is light at the end of the tunnel. And that's going to do it for our newscast tonight. For more on these stories and other news from around North Central Washington, you can find us on Facebook or our website at ncwlife.com. And remember, if you see news happening, we'd like to hear from you. You can send us an email at news@ncwlife.com or give us a call at 888-6259. As Dan and Eric have both mentioned, we're lucky enough to have Monday off, so we will be back with you again on Tuesday. I'm Grant Olson. Thanks for joining us. Have a safe and enjoyable Memorial Day weekend.
Hey everyone, Fletcher and Amy Ellingson here from Live It Up. Join us every week as we answer your questions on health, wealth, and relationships.
We're all about you creating a life that you love, so tune in to Live It Up.